Okay, so we're in Unit 5 of the Keystone Review. Unit 5 is all about cellular division. This is Book Chapters 5. It's Study Island Module 8. And it's pages 1 through 6 in the reading packet for the second module. So you're in the Module 2 reading packet, the Module 2 workbook, and Study Island Module 8. So this is a pretty quick unit on cell division. The first thing we need to answer is why cells divide, and the reason that cells divide is for growth and repair. This is so organisms can get bigger, and so they can replace damaged cells, repair injuries, things like that. And when we're thinking about cellular division in terms of growth and repair, we're thinking about cellular division in terms of mitosis. And always remember that the I in mitosis stands for identical. The other reason cells divide is for reproduction, and the E in meiosis stands for sex. So I know those things don't make exact sense, but it's just to help us remember that with mitosis, we're making identical cells. With meiosis, we're making sex cells or gametes. And so that's why cells divide. Number 2 asks us to draw and label the steps of the cell cycle. Describe in detail the 3 steps of interphase, the 3 stages of interphase. So we've got our cell cycle here. You see G1, S, and G2 are interphase. This is when your cell basically looks like a cell if we were looking at it under the microscope. So you see your cell, you see your nucleus, you see your endoplasmic reticulum and your organelles and stuff like that. Interphase is just your cell being cellular. The M phase stands for mitosis. It's technically prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. Sometimes we sandwich a cytokinesis in there in the M phase, even though technically the M phase is just the nuclear division and cytokinesis is the division of the cytoplasm. So there's 3 stages of interphase, or G1, which stands for gap 1. This is when your cell is growing a little bit. S stands for synthesis, so DNA synthesis is where we're making DNA, and G2 is where we prepare for division. And like we talked about during the unit, I like to think about G2 as kind of getting ready for vacation, making sure you have everything you need to pack in your suitcase before you go. The G2 stage is making sure that the cell is ready for division. The next question here says, I have 2 number 2s. Awesome. The next question here says, draw and describe the steps of mitosis. So remember, the I stands for identical. So if we have 46 chromosomes in our human cells and they go through mitosis, they're going to end up having 46 chromosomes because 46 is identical to 46. Mitosis occurs in your regular body or your somatic cells. So a somatic cell is every kind of cell except for a sex cell. So bone cells, skin cells, muscle cells, all blood cells, all of them go through mitosis. Only sex cells go through meiosis. So what are the stages of mitosis? They're here, P, M, A, T. Prophase is when the nuclear envelope begins to disappear. The chromosomes condense, they start to take on a yarn-like appearance, and the asters, these are the asters and spindle fibers, the asters and spindle fibers form, getting ready to pull the chromosomes to the opposite sides of the cell using the centrioles. So that's what prophase does. Metaphase stands for middle, the M stands for middle, and this is an easy one to recognize when we're looking at it under the microscope. This is where chromosomes align across the middle of the cell. This is also where chromosomes would be collected if you were getting genetic testing done or anything like that, because this is the stage of the cell cycle when your chromosomes are best organized. So this would be the best time to examine them because they're really well organized and they're lined up along the middle of the cell. No more nucleus, they're just lined up along the middle there. Anaphase, remember we said this is the breakup. This is when Anna dumped you. You guys used to be together and now you're broken up. The chromosomes are pulled to opposite poles of the cell during anaphase. They kind of look like fingers reaching towards each other. And then finally, telophase is the last stage of mitosis. This is when the cell takes on kind of a peanut shape. A new nuclear membrane forms for the two new nuclei that are going to be carrying identical genetic information for each other. However, we didn't have division of the cytoplasm yet. The division of the cytoplasm occurs during cytokinesis, which is separate from official mitosis. Cytokinesis is when the cell plate forms in plants or the cleavage furrow forms in animal cells, and this is when the cytoplasm actually divides and you have two new cells. All right, so something that you're going to do on your own, create a mnemonic device to help you memorize the steps of the cell cycle. Moving to page 2. This was a pretty easy one for you guys. However, for some reason, only 48% of people in the state of Pennsylvania got this question correct, which is unsettling. But it says, at a point in the cell cycle, chromosomes have aligned near the middle of a cell. Which sequence of events will the cell need to complete to produce two identical daughter cells? So as I was looking at this question, I'm using my scrap paper just like you will be on the Keystone exam, and when I saw middle, I thought to myself, metaphase. So I just wrote my little mnemonic device, IPMATC, interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and cytokinesis. Which sequence of events would the cell need to complete to produce two identical? So when I see identical, I just wrote a little note to myself that we're talking about mitosis. So looking at the choices here, I see anaphase, telophase, cytokinesis. Anaphase, telophase, cytokinesis. Right now, I feel like this is the best answer, but I'm going to check the other ones. Anaphase 2, anaphase, telophase 2, cytokinesis 2, these are referring to meiosis. So anything that has the Roman numeral 2 is referring to meiosis, because meiosis goes through those two stages of division. And then prophase, metaphase, anaphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, that puts things out of order from what the question is asking us. So I was right. 48% of the people got the question correct. I think that number's a little bit low. I think you guys will do much better if you get a question like that. Use your scrap paper. Use your scrap paper to help you think through the questions, and you will be fine.